when I got the part, they'd kind of asked me about my martial arts background and experience, which of course I exaggerated because, I wanted the job really badly and I wanted to be like, the best possible candidate. And then I actually got it.
So you bluffed your way into the part. I love this.
I had done some work as an on-again, off-again stuntman, but if we're honest, I think I was more of a dancer than I ever was a martial artist.
Simu!
Hi! It's
What's
so good to meet you. Oh my God.
You too. I am such a fan. I'm Ariana DeBose. Because why would you know me? I don't expect you to know me.
Are you kidding me? You were fantastic. You were fantastic. And we'll get to the amazingness that is West Side Story and how incredible you are in it.
Thanks.
Before we do, I had a different question that maybe goes back a little bit further, because you achieved a life dream of mine quite a few years ago. You were on a little show called So You Think You Can Dance. And it's like all I've ever wanted.
Really?
It has been my dream. Yeah, I was in my college, in my freshman year and my sophomore year, I was in my hip hop competitive dance team. And it was like right in the heyday of So You Think You Can Dance and America's Best Dance Crew. And I was like in it. I was all about it. I rehearsed like 4 or 5 nights a week. Like I literally didn't study for any of my classes because of it. And and I would just watch So You Think You Can Dance. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is what I want. I should be in front of a crowd. And
you should be. You are so good.
Oh my God, thank you. But I want to know what your process was auditioning for the show and what it was actually like to be on it. Was it like pretty much what we saw was what we got, or were there other things going on? I'm so curious.
Oh my gosh. That show was like the craziest whirlwind of life for an 18-year-old. Like I was 18 when I did that show.
Oh my God.
And I had known quite a few people that had done it. I grew up dancing with Travis Wall and Martha Nichols, and it felt very tangible to me. That is a crazy thing that I just said, but it felt really tangible. And so going into it, it's what everybody thinks it's going to be. It's a little dog eat dog. Like dancers, we love each other, but we want our spot, But I think the greatest thing I learned is that it is a television show. You think it's just about dance, right? No, it's actually like casting, and they are looking for storylines. I love that you love So You Think. And I love that you have that dance background, which makes a lot of sense because in your film,
oh my God,
Shang-Chi. Am I saying that right?
People say Shang, people say Shang.
Shang.
Either one.
You pronounce
totally
it for me so that, because pronunciation, in my opinion, it does matter.
Thank you.
I want to make sure we all know how we actually pronounce the title of your film.
Yeah, I would say Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Perfect.
I think you are extraordinary in it, and what got me initially was your physicality, because it's not that I didn't see it coming, but I was like, dear Lord, he's so specific and graceful, and I don't know, you were absolutely stunning in the film. I would assume there's a lot of rehearsal that goes into something like that. Tell me about a little of the context, because I find this stuff fascinating. Like, what did you have to go through?
No, absolutely. Well, when I got the part, they'd kind of asked me about my martial arts background and experience, which of course I exaggerated. Because I wanted the job really badly and I wanted to be like the best possible candidate. And then I actually got it.
So you bluffed your way into the part. I love this.
I had done some work as an on-again, off-again stuntman, but if we're honest, I think I was more of a dancer than I ever was a martial artist. So I think it comes with its body awareness.
Yes.
So I had that kind of going for me, and then I just wanted to dive into the process, and I knew it would be very exhaustive. And so pretty much from the moment I was cast, when I was still in Toronto, I started working with people and trainers and learning how to move and and really like stretching into it, because flexibility is such a big part of what dancers do. And it's also a big part of martial arts, that there's a lot of through lines, between the two disciplines. And I had such awful flexibility, like my groin and my tendons were just so stiff. And so a big part of that early process was just like bending my body and trying to rip those legs apart.
Get the fascia to open.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how it started, and then we kind of moved to LA to start prepping, and then eventually to Sydney where we shot. And when we got there and more of the stunt people came down, I started doing more structured learning. And so it was like going in every day, working with instructors from just a variety of different disciplines, learning not just like the hits of stage combat, punch here, move here, but also, a bit of like the philosophy behind each martial art. And so, Tai Chi is a big part of our movie and is a big part of, my mother's character and that part.
So
yes,
beautiful.
The flowing and and it comes with its own physicality. So I had to learn that, and it was really like I felt like it was a full-time job in addition to the whole acting part of it. But what was great too is like, it was my first movie going in, and so I came in with like my own emotional baggage.
Is that your actual first movie?
It was the first, yeah. I'd done TV and like, but no,
I'm so blown away.
What a
I
crazy
didn't realize
first
that.
movie to do, right? No,
Wow,
it was,
sir, you are stunning.
Gosh.
Like,
thank you so much.
I love that you talk about just how much work and discipline that goes into this, because I do find that physically based work, it is a whole cats.
Is it a cat cameo? Are we gonna get
that was a cat cameo? But I don't know that it really gets its due.
That leads me really nicely into West Side Story. Highly physical movie, highly physical part, incredible, legendary director. Did you audition for the part? What was the process like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish the answer was like, no, they came right to my door and said, here you go, the part of the lifetime.
This is much better. This is juicy. There's so much drama with an audition and
there is
nerves. So tell me everything.
Steven Spielberg is absolutely a legendary director, and I remember seeing the press release for it, and Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner will collaborate on West Side Story, their reimagination. I was like, that's going to be awesome. I am not getting that job. I just, I was on Broadway at the time. I was playing Donna Summer in the Donna Summer musical, and I just didn't see Anita or any character in West Side Story really being for me. Most Anitas don't look like me. Or, Rita Moreno, at least, certainly doesn't look like me. But when you look at what's on the page and the bones of the part, it is one of the greatest roles, I think, written for women, specifically, not only in the musical theater canon, but potentially just in the entertainment field. Like, it's a character that really runs the gamut. So you have to be able to act and show an incredible wide range of emotions. But the dancing, it was Jerry Robbins. He's iconic, and that was a very stylized piece of choreography. And Justin Peck, with our choreographer, is just as stylized in his own way. Like, he created essentially what is a new vocabulary. That's what he has been doing in the ballet world. He's so nuanced with choreography. You both have to be a technician and someone who can just truly let go and be pedestrian. And that's actually very hard, to be humanist within specific choreography. It's not something that is easy to accomplish, because I think sometimes dancers can...
There we go.
There we go. Oh,
we have a butt.
We have a butt. I was like, let me modesty curtain. Okay. Hi, Izzy. Are you saying hello? But I think the the nuance of it. It's hard because sometimes dancers look showy and very performative, and that's not and that's not necessarily of service to every piece.
Right.
Yeah, it's nuanced. So there was that layer, and then you had to be able to sing, which it's taken me a long time to call myself a vocalist. I don't like the sound of my voice personally.
You were absolutely incredible. Let me just inject that in right now. Let me just put that in there. You sounded incredible.
Thank you.
Continue.
I appreciated that. And we had incredible vocal coaches. Janine Tresori, she's a legend in the Broadway world, but she held all of our hands through that process. But I think Steven did himself an incredible service by going out and searching for not only authentic talent, authentic to the culture, but also to finding triple threats, and that means looking for unknowns or people who are not widely known. And I don't know that folks in the industry, people in positions of power, I don't know that they're accustomed to making stars anymore. You talk about this Shang-Chi was your first film, really. And it has made you a bona fide star, in my opinion. And that, again, is something that doesn't happen every day. And the opportunities I've been presented with, they don't happen every day because I don't know that we have been in the business of star making for a while.
We are a very inertia-driven business where it is easier to kind of attach yourself into something that is already moving and in motion rather than to put something in motion from a static point. Right. So it's what is hot right now? Who is hot? What can we grab onto versus doing the legwork and seeing something that could eventually one day become, which is super cool.
It's amazing. It was a real testament to investment in personal vision. I really give Steven Spielberg, Tony Kushner, and our casting director Cindy Tolan a lot of credit for that. And our producers for believing in that vision as well. But just to go back, because you asked about the process, and here I was waxing poetic about things that are not really an answer to the question. You stretched while you prepared for your job, and I took boxing lessons. I wanted my Anita to be strong and to understand how to defend herself, and so I decided to box. My shoulders looked really good in the dresses. Also, if I needed to, I could 1-2 real quick.
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's generally a good skill to learn,
being
able to throw a punch.
Yeah.
Outside of show business, I'm sure, too.
I mean,
people annoy you.
People in these streets acting a little crazy these days. So you can never be too prepared.
So you're on set.
Yes.
I mean, I have so many questions. How does a director like Steven like to work?
Well, he's really collaborative, which I was shocked by a little bit because I've watched his. There's a great documentary on him. So I watched the Spielberg documentary, and not that I got the sense that he micromanaged his actors, but I got the sense that he had his film in his head. And he knew what he wanted out of every moment. So I went in prepared to say, what do you need? And I will deliver. And I actually walked into a partnership. Yes, he does his homework. He storyboards. He'll share the storyboard with you. He wanted our input. He wanted to know if what he thought or what he had initially blocked felt authentic. If it didn't, we changed it. He wanted us to follow our instincts, which we all sort of just decided to run wild in the playground, and I think you see it. That's how he got really great performances. I'm huge fans of all my colleagues. I think Mike Feist's performance as Riff is just astounding, and he is playing in a sandbox. The same with my Bernardo, David Alvarez.
Absolutely. And I think that's so powerful too. I think it can be a little bit of a misconception what we do, and I think people do oftentimes confuse actor with meat puppet. It's you make no choices of your own. I always say if you're a head of department in like hair or makeup, you know, you don't show up and say, okay, what do you want? You know, you show up with an idea of how you would do each character based on your own expertise and your vision. It's like you are a head of a department, and that department is your character. And so you are the head of all things Anita, whether it's to do with the way that she walks, the way that she talks, the way that she dances, the way that she looks. You know, you get to play a part in shaping all of that, or at least you hope that you do when you
best case
enter
scenario
into a creative partnership. Exactly.
Yeah. Did you feel that kind of support on your set?
I was surprised. Similar to you, I think I went in expecting with a machine like Marvel that I was just going to be a tiny, tiny little cog in the wheel, and then I was just going to get churned out in the way that, you know, you know, because you can get real cynical about these big budget blockbuster movies and big studios and all of that. You know, it's a credit to Kevin Feige, who's the president of Marvel Studios, to, you know, Louis D'Esposito and Victoria Alonso, who have just like shepherded really Marvel as a gigantic Titanic franchise. They work with filmmakers that really have a personal touch to their work and can make really intimate films in the space of like the massive move, you know, the money generating, whatever you want to call it. So I was surprised by how much I was able to give back, you know, and I was asked to provide feedback at every kind of opportunity. The first time I read the script, the day that we were shooting the script, you know, just to say, hey, how are you feeling about everything? And then, you know, a crazy thing happens is that you kind of get used to it, and then you show up and you're like, I have ideas. Let's get ready to work. And that's, you know, I mean, for an actor, there is nothing more fulfilling, right? Then it's not just about saying the words in a scene, but it's about the holistic experience, the all encapsulating experience of, am I truly, truly taking ownership of this character?
Yeah.
I you know, for someone who is as inexperienced as I was going in, I think I came out of it a lot more sure of myself creatively and also as a performer.
That's incredible. Honestly, we love to hear it. Like, that's the things we love to hear it.
Yes. Something you said really struck me about figuring out the right balance of choreography and also making it appear as if it is not over choreographed. Which is something that's was equally important for our movie. You know, we worked with an incredible action director in Brad Allen, who sadly passed away last year. But he came from the Jackie Chan stunt team and really, I think, has such an awareness of body and of fighting in a way that is dance-like. And I think he played such a big role alongside our fight choreographers in making each action sequence feel like a living, breathing thing that was a part of a story that you wanted to watch because you did not know what was going to happen next.
Your director, Destin Daniel Cretton.
Cretton, yes. Yeah.
Cretton. I'll soften those T's.
I think a hard T would also be acceptable. I don't want to speak for him, but I think I think he's okay with it.
And David Callahan with an M. They are, correct me if I'm wrong, of Asian descent or Asian?
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
that's
amazing.
Right.
I mean, I would wager that adds to cultural authenticity in regards to your film. What are your thoughts on that?
I would 100% agree with that. And not just, you know, not just cultural authenticity in like, you know, like an Eastern Asian sense, right? Of like, the parts, you know, of our film that are set in mystical land of Ta Lo, that is a place that is deeply enshrined in ancient Chinese mysticism. But also speaking to the experience of growing up Asian in America, right? Which is its own unique perspective and uniquely different. And so I just loved, you know, first of all, Destin is such a phenomenally thoughtful filmmaker. I watched Short Term 12 and I was so touched by it. It was one of my favorite movies. And when I learned that he was going to direct Shang-Chi, the feeling that I had was relief. I don't know if you experienced this. I think in my community, we call it rep sweats of whenever a project is announced with an Asian cast, the feeling that you get at first is not necessarily elation or joy or like, yes, we need this. It's nervousness. It's like, oh my God, are they going to get this right? Or is it going to be the other thing? If you had just looked at those comic books that were, written in the 1970s by white people, and you were to say, adapt that into a movie, I think there's just so many ways that it could have gone wrong.
I understand.
There you go. Yeah.
I would say I overstand.
You overstand. Got it. You're based in New York, I'm presuming? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How long have you lived in New York for?
Oh, I moved when I was 19. So I'm 30 now. So a long time.
It's a great time.
I count
Being
1 through 8, you
is
guys.
like the best feeling.
I'm not going to lie. It's great. I have a birthday at the end of the month. So I'll be 31.
Oh, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a great 2022. We're only, 18 days into it. And I'm like, I don't know how it's going to get any better because the first 18 days have been pretty wonderful.
Pretty cool. Golden
cool.
Globe.
Yeah.
Hosted a little show called SNL.
Yeah. And also, let me just take this opportunity to say people sleep on that show because, wait a second. Simu, I believe you are a fellow host. You're a fellow SNL host, sir.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot to talk about. Isn't there a lot to talk about? Like,
there's so much.
Oh my God.
I did tell them Friday, I was like, I am going to turn into a pumpkin at 1:30 in the morning. I will work incredibly hard for you. I will take minimal breaks. One of the pre-tapes we did all on me. There was a moment where I didn't even realize. They're like, oh, so you're going to learn this dance. Okay, cool. I got it. It's what I do. I'm good. And then we go after like the 10 minutes. We're starting to do it. I'm doing it. I think I'm really living my life. And then I realized, it's my rap sequence. And I was like, I'm sorry. You want me to sing and do this at the same time? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. And I was like, cool. 2 minutes. I used every bit of brain power I had to make that happen in 2 minutes. And we got it. And then we moved on. But I was like, I feel like the experience of being an SNL host is both being it's like an actor flex, a host flex, how many tools in my personal toolbox can I possibly use to add to anything else that's going on? But it's one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had. And I'm just I don't know how you felt walking out, but I was just like, thank you for letting me be a guest in your house. Like, this was fascinating for me.
Yeah.
I got big old crushes on everybody. And
oh my God.
Talent crushes,
so
crush crushes
talented.
alone.
They're absolutely world class at what they do. And everyone in the cast is fantastic. And then you have the support staff that you were alluding to,
the talent crew,
amazing woman that leads you by the hand to where you need to go. Donna is fantastic. And before you know it, you're like in a different wig and a completely different outfit in like 30 seconds.
Okay, let's talk about the movies. Tony Leung. I said it right?
I think so.
Because I don't want to disrespect him because, dear Lord.
He's the GOAT.
Incredible. The GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
And for that matter, Michelle Yeoh, I will confess to, I'm a big Michelle Yeoh fan. Like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was one of the most beautiful performances I have ever seen, personally, in my opinion. And also, I love that she was a Bond girl in her own way.
1,000%. Tomorrow Never Dies, baby.
Tomorrow Never Dies. It's just like, oof, it's iconic. Yeah. I want to know, what was it like working with them?
Oh, man. Incredible. Very different people, but a similar, an aura of warmth and friendliness. Tony is famously shy and very, very soft-spoken and just so humble that you would never know his stature and his fame just by looking at him, because he is just such a well-mannered individual and walks with such like a wonder. It's in his body language, the way, he's just, when he's exploring sound stages, he just loves walking and observing. And then the camera rolls, and then you see the intensity in his eyes, and you're like, holy crap. This is, I'm literally watching mastery unfold. And Tony is such a master of the art of stillness, of these tiny changes and shifts in expression that it almost doesn't even feel like he's doing anything. But then you look at the monitor and you're like, holy, like this guy's breaking my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely legendary. And it was just even incredible just being able to sit next to him in between takes and to be like, what do you do on your spare time? And it turns out our boy Tony is a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. So Tony Leung loves snowboarding, loves water sports, slalom skiing, wakeboarding. He's just he just loves it. And I kind of love that. Yeah.
I like that.
The same of which I can say for Michelle, who is absolutely, phenomenally graceful, and I got to fight with both of them, which is crazy.
Come on!
I bow to them. Michelle too really surprised me with how goofy she is, because she plays all these characters. If you watch Crazy Rich Asians and you know, even in Tomorrow, like she plays these badasses that are like they don't take crap from anyone. They're very serious. But then you meet her and she's, first of all, she's every bit as badass in real life, but she's also like kind of a goofball. Like,
I love her Instagram.
Rolling,
her Instagram's amazing.
Instagram is amazing.
She loves
she'll
food.
just she will be rolling camera and then she'll just be like she'll just make a funny face, or she'll be like, boop, 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 and I'll just be like, what is happening? It was her wonderful way of telling me to relax and just settle in and be every bit as free-flowing and as goofy and just normal and natural as she was.
You want to know where my home is? It's where I pay rent. Right here. Where I work my fingers raw, mending pants and hemming neckties.
When I first met Steven, of course I was sweating, but there was a part of me that was able to look at him and say, he is a human, speaking complete sentences, and treat him with respect, and everything is fine. And I had to keep doing that over and over again every time I walked in a room, because I wasn't just walking into a room with him. I was walking into a room with Tony Kushner, who I think is arguably one of the greatest writers of our time, and Rita Moreno. And that was its own experience, because she's Rita Moreno and she won an Oscar, and I believe just about every other award you could win for her portrayal of Anita. And I knew those were big shoes to follow. And also, again, just full of admiration for these people and what they represent. Because that's the thing, when I think about fame, it's a byproduct of the work. And then with the work and the person attached to it, what it comes to mean to our communities, our industries, society at large. I really, really learned that with Rita. She constantly surprised me with the stories that she would just whip out about her experiences in the industry. Talk about someone who won an Oscar and then couldn't get work. That's what? Especially with someone who has a skill set, a talent that is so expansive.
Undeniable.
So then undeniable. So it makes you ask the question about the industry. What's going on in the industry? And then you look at someone like Steven, ultimately. And you're just like, wow, you're 72. You're choosing to make a musical now. And there's a part of him that is he's so joyful every day coming to work, but he's nervous. And you can see it. Steven Spielberg gets nervous. And I was like, that's because these are beautiful humans. And so I sit in a place where I'm humbled by the opportunity to be in their presence.
I feel like I spent so much of my life as a regular person, if that makes sense. Like I was awkward in school. I went to college. I had a job. I was laid off. And then some crazy thing happened and I became an actor, and then I kind of crossed over into this world of show business and agents and you know, directors and award shows and all of that stuff. But before that, I was like just like a kid and just a person going through life. And I'm wondering, when did that change happen for you? Like you said, you were in the national limelight by the time you were 18, and probably dancing for far beyond that, because you were a world-class dancer when you were 18.
Never heard it put that way.
Where did it happen, and what about those struggle years do you remember, maybe romanticize, or do you?
I didn't go to university. Like, I once So You Think You Can Dance happened, I changed my trajectory to trying to get work on Broadway or in regional theater because I knew my skill set lent itself to that. But I didn't go to university. I don't have a college degree. And when I first got to New York, it was very important to the industry that if you didn't have a degree, if you didn't go to one of those bigger schools, it might be really hard for you to get work. So I kind of felt like I had a lot up against me. And to be honest, So You Think You Can Dance was not helpful in getting me into the room. So I felt like I've constantly had to reinvent myself. So I got to New York as a dancer, realized very quickly I couldn't just rely on my dance abilities, and I had to learn how to sing. And while, yes, I did get some small gigs, and then I booked Bring It On the musical, and that was really my big first thing. It came quickly, but there was nothing quick about it.
Yes.
It's like you can get the job, but then the doing of the job and the learning how to do the job, keeping the job. There are these moments where you're just constantly sweating because you're like, how do I get a job? How do I get a job?
Oh my
like
God. The nights
Pretty
that
simple.
I would keep myself up until 3 or 4 in the morning, I would just like run out of things to do, and I would just scream out into the universe. Like, I would just be like, tell me what to do.
Tell me what to do.
No.
It's crazy because I feel everybody's like lived experience, like I said earlier, is so different. And yes, I spent 10 years on Broadway, but I had to run the gamut of the different types of jobs that I did. You know, and when I did finally get work as a more featured character or a leading lady, yes, it came quickly, but the road it took to get there was not quick. Like, while I was doing a job, I had to go and train for the job that I wanted to pursue. And so that's you know what I mean? You're not just doing one thing at a time. You're doing a lot of things at a time.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that in the same way about maintaining your body, and while you're doing a job, you're maintaining your body to get the job you want. You're not just learning the skills once you get the job. Half the time you have to have the skill set to book the job. So I was like, okay, I got to go learn to sing. I got to go take the acting classes. Now I got to learn to act for camera, and I can't just wait till I book the job to do it. Like, there's some forethought, or learning who the people you're working for are in the industry, just learning who the major players in the industry are. But that's why we do these Actors on Actors. So I learned so much about you.
Likewise.
And I thank you for letting me share a little something about me. It's wild. This thing that we do, this thing that we call acting is wild.